Well, we had a pretty killer week. Got a lot done this week. To give you my first thing, Chris came by and he sprayed the inside of the cab. So the interior now has paint on it, which is killer. Got my steering column in. I got a steering wheel ordered for it. I got the pieces to make my intermediate shaft ordered. The joints and the rod. So, well, that's super killer. Big thank you to Chris for making that happen. And then also I started running my exhaust, and I'll give you the heads up on a second part of this video so you can see what I got going. All right, earlier today I found a drive shaft I had squirreled away over here. Took it to the drive shaft shop with my yoke for the transmission and some dimensions. I think that drive shaft will work good without even having to be cut. So they're doing that, and I found some old, well, not old, but when I did the exhaust on the 51 Pontiac, I bought an exhaust kit from Amazon. Had a couple pieces left over, and I am starting to put together my exhaust system on the truck. So what I'm going to do is take my collector and expand it. So this, I cut about 3 inches off of this. I'm going to expand this so that'll slide inside of it, and I can start putting my exhaust together. Let me set this up and I'll show you how I'm doing this. All right, I think I got you in the shop. So I bought this Vevor tailpipe expander kit a couple of years ago, and it works pretty good. I mean, especially for what it costs. So here's how I do it. I put some white lithium grease on this expander thing, and I set my pipe in there. And then on the bottom of this Vevor thing had this little V-shaped bracket thing. I welded a scrap piece of metal on the back because if you're trying to operate at one hand, it would kind of rock and roll side to side, and that ain't no fun when you're trying to get stuff done. So it leaves this, it's like a square, get some flat spots. So at that point, what you got to do is you got to rotate it. Rotate your flat spots. I also make an air over hydraulic pedal, but I don't use this thing enough to justify owning that. I only ever use it for this. It's like exhaust stuff is kind of few and far between for me. A little bit more. Sometimes this thing gets stuck. Maybe I'm not using enough lube, I don't know. Tiny bit more. It'll rotate that spot there. I mean, the air over hydraulic pedal does work much faster than this. But it's not like this is something that I do every single day. Last time I used this thing was probably over a year ago. Just like that. So now, this thing up in there, I can stick this on my header and start putting together my exhaust system. Not too shabby. All right, with the cab painted, I have went ahead and started doing my exhaust. So what I did on the exhaust was I ordered a kit from Amazon with some pipes, and I went up to the collector, came down, put an elbow, put a 90, another 90, then ran a straight pipe, and I was trying to find something that would fit under here decently. I ended up with these Thrush Rattlers. I don't know if they're going to sound very good, but they're small. And what I've done is, I don't know if you can see it right through there. I've left myself enough room so I can take this to a muffler shop and have them make me a tailpipes. And that way, you can just run it out along the frame. And then like down here, put the pipes on the back. This is just so that I can start it up, break the cam in. But, I mean, for Amazon exhaust, I think I'm pretty happy with that. So, that is that. I was going to run them in the middle because you got all these crazy control arms and stuff in here. There's really not a lot of room. So you kind of have to stick to the outside. I mean, there's just, it's kind of a, don't leave you a lot of options. But I feel like that's a pretty good deal there. Same thing on the driver's side. And I went and painted all the pipes. And then I put a clamp on here on each side, so that way if I had to remove it, I could just unclamp it. But I painted everything, that way it ain't gonna rust. And I try to get my front clip painted, and then waiting for the steering pieces to come in to the steering box. And once the steering box stuff is hooked up and the front clip, the inner fenders and stuff is painted, this thing will be bolted together for the last time. And I can put the radiator in and fire this dude up. See if we can make some smoke. And then at that point, I gotta run the brake lines and do the brakes. And this thing will be able to move, steer, and stop, which is way more than it ever did when I got it. This, I mean, the steering has never been hooked up since I've got it. So, and it was on a different frame. So, when things start moving forward and making progress, I will chime back in and let you know what's going on.